The day I sent my family a photo from my private jet, I didn't write a single word in the caption. I didn't have to. The message was clear. It was the same group chat that, 5 years earlier, was full of laughing emojis when I showed up to a family reunion in my rusted, sputtering Honda Civic. That day, they called me Miss Broke Mechanic. Now, I was sipping champagne at 30,000 feet, the jet engine humming beneath me, the sunlight bouncing off the wing like a victory banner. When the group chat exploded with shocked messages, "Wait, is that your jet?" I just smirked. But trust me, this wasn't an overnight success. It was built from pain, mockery, and a burning desire to prove them all wrong. Because back then, I wasn't anyone special. Just a woman everyone in my family had decided wasn't good enough. The same people who mocked my car had no idea that I'd turned that humiliation into the fire that fueled everything I became. So yeah, the photo on that jet wasn't about bragging. It was about reclaiming my dignity, 1 mile above the people who tried to keep me down. But if you really want to know how I got there, let me take you back to the moment it all began, with that car, that laughter, and that one night I'll never forget. My name's Sophia. I'm 32 now, but when this all started, I was 23, living in a small town in Michigan and working 2 jobs just to stay afloat. By day, I was a cashier at a grocery store. By night, I fixed up used cars for extra cash. My old Civic was my pride, sure, it rattled like a tin can, but I'd rebuilt that engine with my own hands. My family, though, never saw the value in hard work unless it came with a college degree and a luxury car. My older brother, Liam, was their golden boy, MBA, big job in Chicago, brand new Tesla. My cousins were lawyers and real estate agents. And me. I was the car girl, the one who never went anywhere. My mom loved me, but even she'd say, "Sweetheart, maybe it's time to think smaller." That line broke me a little every time. Still, I kept working. Every dollar I saved went into my dream, opening my own auto shop, a place where women could feel safe getting repairs without being talked down to. I told my family about it once. Liam laughed so hard he nearly spilled his wine. A women's auto shop? What's next, a spa in a garage? Everyone laughed. Everyone, except me. That night, I cried in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel, whispering to myself, "They'll see. One day, they'll all see." The next year, the family reunion was at my aunt's lake house, all fancy cars lined up in the driveway, BMWs, Audis, a brand new Porsche. And then there was me, pulling up in my old Civic, which coughed and groaned all the way there. I stepped out, and instantly, Liam shouted, "Hey everyone, Sophia made it," with her flying dumpster. The laughter that followed still echoes in my head. Even my aunt chuckled, shaking her head. "Sweetheart, maybe it's time to let that thing go." I forced a smile, trying to laugh along, but my face burned. Inside, while everyone bragged about bonuses, weddings, and vacations, I sat quietly by the snack table. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was humiliated. Until Liam made one final jab. He raised his glass and said, "To success, and to Sophia's Civic, for surviving another year." Everyone cheered. I felt tears sting my eyes, but I swallowed them down. That moment changed me. That night, I drove home in silence, headlights cutting through the dark. I pulled into my tiny driveway, sat in that car, and whispered, "I'm going to make them eat those words." I didn't know how. I didn't know when. But I knew one thing. I'd never let anyone laugh at me again. 2 months later, I quit my grocery job. Everyone thought I'd lost my mind. My boss said, "You sure about this, Sophia? You've got bills." I nodded. "I'm sure." I drained my savings, all $6,000 of it, and rented a dusty, run-down garage on the outskirts of town. I spent weeks cleaning, painting, fixing tools, and watching YouTube tutorials on small business marketing. When I finally hung up the sign, Sophia's Garage, Honest Auto Care for Women, I cried. Not because it was perfect. Because it was mine. But reality hit fast. No customers. No money. No one trusted a girl mechanic. Liam found out through Mom and texted me, running a garage now. LOL. Hope you don't blow up the cars. I deleted the message. I kept showing up every morning. Sometimes, I'd fix one car. Sometimes, none. But every night, I'd write goals on my wall. 1. Gain trust. 2. Build name. 3. Prove them wrong. One day, a young mother named Jessica walked in crying. Another shop had overcharged her for a simple repair. I fixed it for free. The next week, 5 women came in saying Jessica sent them. And that's when it started, word of mouth, honest work, slow growth. 6 months later, my garage was finally breaking even. One Saturday, Liam showed up, in his perfect suit and shiny car. Wow, he said, looking around, this place is cute. I smiled tightly. It's doing well. He laughed. You know, if you ever need real investors, I could help. Translation, he wanted to own it. No thanks, I said. I like doing it my way. He shrugged. Suit yourself. Just don't come crying when it flops. But it didn't flop. Within a year, I'd outgrown the garage. I hired 2 mechanics, launched a website, and started hosting workshops for women. Local news even did a feature, The Female Mechanic Changing the Game. My phone didn't stop buzzing, even Mom cried watching it. But when Liam saw it, he texted again, congrats, I guess. Didn't think you'd actually pull it off. That was his way of saying he was jealous. Still, success came with pressure, long nights, debt, and exhaustion. One day, I nearly collapsed in the shop. My doctor told me, if you don't slow down, you'll burn out. I looked at the grease under my nails, the calluses on my hands, and thought, this is what success feels like. The following year, everything crashed. A storm destroyed part of my roof, my insurance didn't cover it, and a major supplier went bankrupt. I was broke again, worse than before. Liam's words echoed in my head. It'll flop. I cried for 2 days straight, ready to sell the shop and quit. Then, out of nowhere, I got an email from a local entrepreneurs network. They were hosting a small business grant competition for women in trades, $100,000 prize. I almost didn't apply. But Maya, my assistant, grabbed my shoulders and said, Sophia, this is your moment. I poured my heart into that application. A month later, I was standing on a stage in Detroit, shaking, sweaty palms, pitching my dream. When they called my name as the winner, I couldn't even breathe. The next day, a business magazine called me the mechanic who refused to quit. That $100,000 changed everything. Within 2 years, I opened 3 more locations. Sophia's Garage became a franchise. I hired single moms, trained young women in trade skills, and even launched a scholarship fund. I bought my first luxury car, not to show off, but to remind myself how far I'd come from that rusty Civic. Then, a major automaker approached me for a partnership. They wanted to sponsor my brand as part of their Women in Business campaign. I said yes. And just like that, I went from fixing cars to being on magazine covers. Mom called one night, crying again. I knew you'd make it, sweetheart. But I knew she didn't. No one did. Liam stayed quiet, until he showed up again. Hey, Sophia, he said, remember that jet company ad you posted about? I can help with your travel logistics. I looked at him and said, thanks, Liam. But I think I've got it handled. When the next reunion came around, I showed up late, but this time, not in a Civic. I arrived in a sleek black Mercedes. Heads turned. Liam's jaw dropped. Nice rental, he joked weakly. I smiled. Nope. Mine. Suddenly, everyone wanted to talk to me. The same people who ignored me before were now asking for business tips. But I wasn't bitter. I was calm, because I'd already planned my moment. When someone asked, so, how's business? I smiled and said, good enough that I had to buy a jet to make meetings easier. Silence. Then laughter, except it wasn't mocking this time. It was disbelief. A week later, I took my first flight on my newly leased private jet, a partnership perk from the automaker deal. I snapped a photo, me, champagne in hand, city skyline below, captioned simply, from the Civic to the clouds. I sent it to the family group chat. Within seconds, the messages poured in. Liam, is this real? Aunt, proud doesn't even begin to describe it. Mom, I told you she'd make it. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. That photo went viral online too, a symbol of self-made success. Strangers commented, she turned their laughter into jet fuel. And they were right. A month later, Liam came to visit. He looked nervous, different. Sophia, he said quietly, I was a jerk. I shouldn't have mocked you. You proved me wrong. I looked at him for a long moment. Liam, I said softly, you didn't just mock me. You motivated me. He laughed awkwardly. Guess I should be proud of that. I smiled. You should. He hugged me, the first real hug we'd shared in years. And just like that, the anger was gone. Now, when I see my jet take off, I don't think about revenge anymore. I think about that scared, humiliated girl in the Civic, and how she never gave up. Because success isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And sometimes, the people who laugh the loudest become the ones who cheer the hardest when you finally rise. So yeah, my family once mocked my old car. Now, I send them pictures from the sky. Not to brag, but to remind them, and myself, that no dream is ever too small to take off.